Welcome to Last Resort, the pros and cons conspiracy edition. Gotta be honest, I didn't expect to be back so soon after the quarantine issue, but boy oh boy, here we are. Now, I don't really know how to discuss this issue publicly other than vocally vomiting how I came to interact with it and understand it. So here goes. Over the last couple weeks, given the importance of the Black Lives Matter movement, many of the thoughts and energies of myself and those at the Snowboarder Mag staff have felt tied into making concrete moves towards addressing the lack of racial diversity in snowboarding. What that is specifically continues to grow and quite frankly is an entirely bigger conversation that we are continually having and hoping to have with you and snowboarding at large for the rest of time. Now, about a week ago, we put out a post that outlined various organizations that specific mission is to bring underprivileged kids that wouldn't normally get a chance to get into the mountains an opportunity to do so. But on this post, I noticed Nicolas Müller dropping comments about conspiracy theories. Now, when this happened, I have to be honest here, I basically just stopped paying attention, which maybe was a fault of mine, okay? I moved on to what I felt like was the much bigger issue at hand that we had been working towards, for the previous weeks. Then, of course, Tara Takitis makes a post with the All Lives Matter tag, which you can't do. You can't have that rhetoric. And just to really beat this one home, the Black Lives Matter movement doesn't imply that all lives don't matter. It's been personalized many ways, but I'll give you my shot at it. My mother, actual breast cancer survivor. Imagine if the doctors came to her and said, hey, you have breast cancer. We've addressed what specifically the problem is, but actually all cancers matter. So we're just gonna try and take this thing at the whole. It's not how it works. People are just asking for help. They're asking for an acknowledgement that there is a problem, and they're being met with contention from levels to which I myself am shocked and surprised, although I probably shouldn't be. Tara essentially equated her experience as an outlaw snowboarder in the 90s to growing up Black in America, which is just a grave misunderstanding of the situation. All of these posts that would come from Tara in the immediate future and all of Nico's rhetoric are so heavily based in the idea of a maniacal, unwritten narrative in the grand scheme of the world, or more lovably known, a conspiracy. Now, for the sake of argument here, of course, I will say I love discussing ideas, and to an extent, some of the base ideology around what these people are talking about is down with the man, which of course is something that I can get behind, but then you start to realize who they think the man is, and that's where the message becomes destructive. My basic problem with conspiracy theories is that they imply such an immense knowledge to pull off that ostensibly would have to be successfully hidden from the entire rest of the world. It doesn't make sense. It would imply that all history is effectively fake. How could a couple of humans have pulled that off? And for what? What fake life are they living that we don't see? Hey, reel it in, Stan. Right. Sorry. Nicolas Müller's sponsors dropped him, and that is what elevated this conversation to the surface. And there has been a staggering amount of people that have contacted me over the last couple days asking me what we're gonna do about this, what I think about this. And here's my basic response. To me, this feels like a mental health issue, the likes of which I, the editor of Snowboarder magazine, simply am not smart enough to truly unpack what to do, and I'm afraid to give out large amounts of misinformation. The brands that used Nicolas Müller as a paid billboard to promote their brand made the smart decision of cutting ties with someone who was using his mass following to spread misinformation. And even if you want to say it's not misinformation, you can't argue that a brand doesn't have to promote a conspiracy theory, or at least pay someone to. On top of this, if this is a mental health issue, is it possibly related to head injuries? My hesitation is, of course, what I think Nico did is wrong and disaligns with what I think, but what do? Is Nico just off to pasture and we don't talk to him anymore? Because it feels like we should be addressing the root of this issue, which is absolutely going to present itself again, okay? Do we need to work harder to decide who our sport deems an influencer? Do we need to move away from a meritocracy? The rewarding of first and foremost who is good at doing tricks and looking into the personality second, is that a danger? Do we normalize mental health exams for snowboarders every year to make sure people are doing okay? Do I think that Nico's sponsors should have dropped him? I would have. As far as my understanding goes, they reached out to him. They told him, hey man, we're here for you. We're a little worried. Maybe back up on the harsh promoting of this message on all other people's feeds. People are acting like this is a free speech issue. This is not a free speech issue at all. Nico can continue to talk about this stuff if he wants, but there will be consequences through his sponsors, regardless of what side of this you're on, which I don't still understand how there's sides. I can't stress it enough. I don't think there is an answer, okay? And that's why I guess to many, we have been too late to comment on this. I just think it's a bigger issue. I think we need to take a serious look at how we handle the pros that we've elevated to a level and what happens when they jump off that cliff. Do we catch them? Do we help catch them? Have we even thought about what that net looks like? I think this is an example of snowboarding trying to dig up one big problem, the problem of diversity, and it's with it uprooting a lot of things that now we have to deal with, and that's on us as an industry. I think it's a conversation of why we can't expect brands to continue to pay someone who is using their platform that they helped make to promote such an abrasive message. And I think we need to address the fact of what happens to our pros when they start to show signs that they're losing it. Again, this isn't going to be the last time we see this, and I think we should all start to take a look at how to address it. We have reached out to Nico. We are going to ask if there's any sort of middle ground here that we can all come to an understanding. But I think including him in the conversation is an important piece, and just us making a statement denouncing someone doesn't make sense, regardless of how much we disagree with what he's saying in this situation. I don't know. That's all I got.